I love that I can do what I do, but I also am so ready for so many other people to skyrocket because I know that we have so many personalities and people in this sport, women who are just as deserving and just as charismatic and great players that can be that face of the sport as well.
Welcome to We Need to Talk Now. I'm Alicia J. And as always, I'm here with Ashley Nicole Moss.
Hello, 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 everyone. Happy whatever day it is. I'm losing track. Do you think January is really, really long of a month?
It has been this month.
Somebody said to me the other day, oh, it's January 72nd. Da 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 da.
That's the truth.
As a January baby, I've always loved that January it always felt very long because my birthday's in January. I get to feel the entire month. I get to ease into the year. I feel like because my birthday's at the top of the year, I really get to enjoy a full month. The rest of the months fly by. So I actually don't mind that January is a little bit longer. But then again, I'm a January baby. So maybe that's why,
Okay. I mean, that definitely could be why. I would like if January was going to be long for it to be just a little better. There was a lot going on in this January that was a little off the mark. Yeah. and so,
I
wish that'd be a little toned down. However, something amazing did happen in January, Ashley, and that is the launch of your new show. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Round of applause.
Yes,
can you tell us a little bit more about it?
So as you know, on this pod, we cover everything and anything women's sports. But on Triple Threat, we talk all things NBA. So it's the storylines of the NBA, the playoffs, the trade deadline, All-Star, all things Jimmy Butler losing his mind, and everything in between. So it's the same kind of vibe on this show, bringing you the stories that people care about. But instead of women's sports, we're focusing on the NBA. So
that's amazing. I know for one, you've had your first episode, and I have not caught up on it because there's been a lot happening in January. But I will be tuned in. I will be subscribed to that. And really looking forward to just, I see you every week here, but looking forward to seeing you in another way in your new show. So, but for this show, Ashley, we have a really amazing interview coming up for you.
That I know you're very excited about.
Oh my gosh. I was literally during this interview, I was inside internally. I was like kind of fangirling a little bit, and I hope it didn't show in the interview. I haven't watched the playback, but if it is, because I was fangirling on the inside for sure.
Yeah. But well, tell the people.
Listen, well, it's Ilona Maher. We have definitely, both of us, been huge fans of hers. We are huge fans of hers. So we got that interview and it was so amazing. Can't wait for you guys to see it. Definitely stay tuned for that. But in order to get the alerts for interviews such as this, you have to be connected in all ways that you see
all the
here.
Ways.
Every single way. So whether it be with We Need to Talk or our personal channels, definitely be connected there. And then subscribe, like, comment, do all of the things. Because listen, you're not going to get these amazing episodes and amazing interviews like the ones we have today without doing that. So right here, we're going to put up a QR code that you can also scan, and you can just be directly connected to us on every level. So make sure you do that scan, make sure you subscribe, tell everybody about it, share, and we'll be good. That's what we like here at We Need to Talk.
We will be good. And speaking of good, before we get into your very exciting interview that you may or may not have been fangirling in, the tape is out for jury. We'll let all of our subscribers and followers of the pod let us know in the comments once the interview gets rolling. Did Alicia fangirl? We should make that a poll, actually, Emma, once the interview goes live in its totality. I'm very interested to see those results. But we do know the results of something already. It was a Blockbuster trade that happened. Alicia, I'll let you break this all down. I'm just going to give everyone the synopsis of what it was around. I think I texted you all this, maybe like 8, 9 o'clock at night yesterday, around that time frame. Kelsey Plum, she's taken her talents to Los Angeles because she is now a Los Angeles Sparks. Now, the trade, just want to go ahead and put this forward, although it was confirmed by multiple sources, the trade is not finalized yet. So February 2nd is when contracts can officially be signed. So there is still an opportunity where things may change from what we're about to report right now. But if everything goes according to plan in the next few days, Kelsey Plum is now a Los Angeles Spark. Alicia,
Listen,
talk
and
about it. What happened?
first of all, I just want to say, when we talked about Kelsey Plum for free agency and all of that, I was incredibly wrong on what I thought. If you go back to the episode where we talked about free agency, you will see how wrong I in fact was. And I'm okay with that, because this trade, whatever Blockbuster deal, was amazing on every level. And there's been a lot of controversy about who won and who lost and all of that. But let's just break it down. So Lloyd, who requested a trade,
Jewel Lloyd.
literally, Jewel Lloyd, she requested a trade from the Seattle Storm. She is going to go to the Aces in this deal. Plum goes to the LA Sparks via a sign and trade. This is all not solidified all the way yet, but we know it's coming. So she goes to the Sparks for the sign and trade. And then, because the Aces actually cored her. So that happened right before all of this went down. They announced that they cored Kelsey Plum. So that essentially took her out of free agency. So they would have to, make a deal like this because of that. So meanwhile, the Storm, they got Lee Yuru, who is a fantastic big, and she's getting better with every year that she plays. So she was actually a good pickup as well. But they also get the number 2 overall pick in the draft, which is where people are saying, like, whoa, they really came up big and they won this whole deal because of that aspect. So that is all of the movement that happened. And given all of that movement, what are your thoughts on this Blockbuster deal, Ashley?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're not going to go into too much depth in this conversation right now, because we do have a very special show on CBS Sports Network this Friday. And that's actually the day before, or 2 days before, excuse me, that the contracts can officially be signed. So we may or may not have some additional information that we can share to really have an in-depth conversation. But initial thoughts was, one, whoa. 2, I love the idea of Kelsey Plum in LA. The only thing that was a little bit interesting to me is I didn't think that her particular position was something that the Sparks would be going after. I would think more realistically, they want to focus more. So obviously you have Cameron Brink, but we don't know if she'll be ready to go by training camp. Sources are saying more than likely All-Star is realistic for her. Remember, she injured herself, what was it, in June? So I would think that they want more size, more rebounding, especially in Cameron Brink's absence. They have plenty of scoring in LA. But on the other side of things, the Jewel Lloyd situation, not surprised. We talked about this ad nauseum on this podcast. Just a disaster in Seattle. So there was no way she was going back there. It was just a matter of where she was going and when it was going to happen. But it's definitely interesting. I think also the number 2 pick in the upcoming draft is the biggest key here. And again, we'll dive into this really deeply on our show on Friday, live on CBS Sports Network. But that number 2 pick was, that was a little hefty.
Absolutely. And that's really what's pushing people, obviously, to say, like, in this whole deal, they came out on top. And I will say this, it's really, really hard. And again, we will get into this more in the Friday show. So definitely tune into that. But when a player says, yo, trade me, you really are scrambling, and you're in the deep voice. So you really are scrambling, and you're somewhat at a disadvantage, right? Because people know that you need to make some type of deal, right? But whoever is dealing, I'm sure it's a whole room of people. Whoever is dealing with the Storm, they did a good job on this one. Well, we'll definitely dive into that more on Friday. I can't wait to really just talk this through, Ashley, because I mean, it was a good one. Caught everybody by
Yes.
surprise, that's for sure.
Definitely caught a lot of people by surprise. And again, we may have some additional information regarding this trade or potential trade. A lot can happen in the sports world from today and Friday. So
Sure
we'll
can.
definitely have our ears and eyes on our timelines and our phones. But speaking of ears and eyes, we have to move on to the interview that we teased at the very beginning of this show with one of Alicia. I guess it's safe to say idol. Can I call her your idol? One of
I
them?
don't know if I don't know about idol. Idol is a
Maybe
strong
not
word.
idol. Can I say, what's the word I'm looking for? One
She is an
of
inspiration.
your biggest, yes, your biggest, one of your inspirations. Can I say that? Is that
Absolutely.
it?
Oh yeah. You
Okay,
can say
for
that.
sure. One of your inspirations, we obviously have seen her crush it in the Olympics in Paris this past summer. She's been killing it when it comes to being on red carpets for, I think she was at the time 100. We know she was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, one of the covers of Sports Illustrated. And I think one thing you've really spoken highly about in regards to her is her body positivity. I feel like that would be the biggest thing that we've spoken about outside of admiring her as an athlete. I feel like just how she's embraced her body, her figure, her size, and also pushed back on the haters that were first being introduced to her on this global stage of the Olympics and had such negative things to say about the way she looked and, it not being quote unquote womanly enough and things like that. Is that safe to say that's probably your biggest thing that you admire about her?
Without a doubt. I mean, we definitely talked about this in the interview you're about to see. And also, I did, I'm 6'6". We've talked about this before. I slipped a little tall question about body positivity in there too, because I just needed to know. I don't know when I'm going to talk to Ilona again. So I had to ask her that too. But definitely an amazing interview. And I'm so glad that all of you get to see it right now.
Well, introduce it. I'll let you do the honors.
Oh my gosh. So right now, you're about to get an amazing interview with the one and only Ilona Maher. Welcome back to We Need to Talk Now. I'm Alicia J, and I am here with a very special guest, the one and the only Ilona Maher. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Happy to be here.
Listen, I don't know if you've seen any episodes of the show, but my co-host Ashley, Nicole Moss, who couldn't make it today, but we stand on every single level. We talk about you almost every single episode. Love what you're doing, from obviously the Olympics to Dancing with the Stars to now joining the Bristol Bears. We could literally sit here all day and talk about your accolades, but which one means the most to you?
I think for right now, it was the Olympic medal because again, it didn't feel like it was just for myself. It felt like it was for such a greater purpose getting that medal. It felt like it was for my teammates and for our program in general. Like, I think that's what drove me to feel so passionate about it because that just almost has set our team up to be better in the future for other girls to dream of being rugby players. So I think I'm definitely most proud of that, but I'm also proud that I enjoyed the journey to that.
Yeah, I mean, your journey has been remarkable in every way. And you talk about moments that mean a lot in rugby. Recently, they had to move the arena for you, the stadium, I should say, for you, because there was such a demand for tickets to watch you and the Bristol Bears play. What did that mean for you to see that there was a record set, over 4,000 people? And then what does that mean for rugby? Because that's huge.
Yeah, you know what it means? It was so cool because I post so much to spread my brand, spread my port, and then my sport. And so here it was a tangible way that it's actually coming through in a financial matter as well. People are buying tickets, we're selling seats. It's tangible. I'm like, okay, I'm doing something with this. So it was just so cool to see. And I think like more than half of the people that were there, this was their first rugby game ever, just because they wanted to come see me play. So it's so cool, and I'm so proud that that happened. But then also there's that sense of like, you know, it can't just be a one and done. Like it's great that they came in that one game, but how can we get them to the next game, the game when I'm not playing?
Well, and how do you think you continue to do that? Obviously you have these amazing moments that are happening. You see the movement. We're seeing it in women's sports. And, it's booming on every level, but you obviously want rugby to continue to grow. What do you think is the main thing that you still need to be able to catapult it in ways that it's never seen before?
I think that right now, I think it's so fun to be, as they call me, the superstar of rugby, the biggest name in rugby, but I don't think that's enough to have just one person. I think we need to have more of them, like, WNBA with Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, all of these amazing names. Like, we need more than just one because people want to connect with and come in and see people. So I love that I can do what I do, but I also am so ready for so many other people to skyrocket because I know that we have so many personalities and people in this sport, women who are just as deserving and just as charismatic and great players that can be that face of the sport as well.
Well, you talk about being one of the faces or a face, the face, in my opinion, of rugby right now, and we are going to have more, right? Like you just said, we are striving every day to make sure that everybody should be highlighted in these sports. And you've had this huge boom for yourself in social media, but for people who don't know, you have been spreading this message of body positivity for years. What has it been like for it to, boom in the way that it has? And can you just speak to the overall journey of your message? Because, it didn't happen overnight.
Yeah, I mean, I blew up in Paris exponentially, but I also kind of blew up in Tokyo as well. And then from Tokyo to Paris, I've been posting videos consistently. I think that for me, it's important that my brand isn't just one thing. My brand isn't just rugby because I am a rugby player a couple hours of the day, but then other hours of the day, I'm a girl who sometimes feels insecure about her body. I'm a girl who loves to eat. I'm a girl who loves to hang out with her friends, go have a drink. I'm a girl who loves to, read and whatnot. So I'm so much more than a rugby player. So I wanted to show that through my social media that there's just not just one niche. I think that's also what makes us so cool, women in general, just like how versatile we are. The body positivity thing, I think, came about because it is something that felt so natural to speak on. Because I guess I view it in a different way. I think rugby has helped me to view my body in a different way. And that it's like, not so much something that needs to be looked at, objectified, but it's something that's so powerful and can do so much for you and show you what you're capable of. So I think I have a different way of seeing it because of my teammates, because of the sport, that it almost felt natural to kind of share my wisdom with people.
Well, in sharing that wisdom, I just want to say thank you on behalf of so many people out there, including myself, because I've looked to you for amazing messages of that body positivity. But I know that in the space that you're in and everything that you're doing, you have to kind of protect it too. And I've read that, this year you're going to be saying yes to the things that you want to do and maybe not saying yes to the things that you're iffy about. When it comes to partnerships like the one with Quaker Oats, like what made you, want to partner with Quaker Oats and what they're doing, and what made you say yes?
I think for me, it's about finding things that I can authentically put out to my followers. Like, I never want to sell something that I wouldn't also use because they'll know. I just feel like my followers have a sixth sense and they'll know if it's not genuine. So when they reached out, it was so cool. Also, as an athlete, I'm always trying to put myself out there, my brand out there to get sponsorship. So for a brand that's so iconic like Quaker to take notice of me and to want to work with me felt very fitting. I think their products I've used for years now. They also like are relaunching a protein oatmeal, which is like so part of my brand because I'm always trying to get these girlies to eat more protein. And that's like my kind of big thing now is like put down my iced coffee, let's have some breakfast, have a real meal. So it just felt like something that I'm constantly talking about on my own socials can be then perfectly melded together in a partnership.
Well, I'm one of those girlies that's trying to get more protein.
It's
So
hard. It's hard, isn't it?
it is so hard. So I'm definitely going to tap into the Quaker Oats. One thing that I have loved to see this whole time is that you're building this with your sister. She's an amazing content creator on her own. Shout out to Girl Dinner. Love that.
Mm.
But she definitely, manages you, supports your social media, all of the things that she does. What has it been like to build this with your sister? Like, it has to be so special.
It's so special because having somebody who, and we also think very like, we're very like, having somebody who knows you so well that they can know if you're gonna like something before you even see it. Like there's been so many times where we've gotten something across the desk and she's like, Ilona won't like that, and then I'll look at it and be like, I don't like that. She's like, see, I told you. Also somebody who is not just cautious about money making, the business side, but also really trying to take care of me as a person and my well-being, I think is hard to get from somebody you just hire. So having somebody who cares for me in all aspects of life really, I think, is making me more successful and also protecting my own mental health and peace.
Well, speaking of peace, we just want to, say that this moment in time with you was so special. Definitely, you've brought us so much peace just by watching all of the things that you're doing, your message and everything. So on behalf of everyone, thank you. Before we go, we just want to do a little rapid fire really quickly. So 3 things that are in this year and 3 things that are out.
Okay. In protein can be through Quaker Oats, but also just please get your protein in. Okay. 2, in only saying yes to things that you really want to do and believe will kind of fulfill you in a way. And like, if you know in your heart it's not going to, being okay saying no. In getting out there and seeing what your body's capable of, whether it's a walk, lifting weights, something like that. Out, negative talk to yourself and to others, which I'm also trying to get better at always about myself. Out, only drinking iced coffee until 3 p.m., which I have also had to learn how to get better at. Out, compromising for yourself and your worth.
All of those are powerful.
Get it?
Favorite female athlete?
I enjoy, gosh, so many. Coco Gauff, love her. I've gotten to meet her a couple times now. So cool. I would just say all of my teammates that I've gotten to spend the most time with, like Holly Aitchison plays on the English rugby team. Jazz Joyce is on the Welsh rugby team. Some of the best athletes you'll ever meet. In terms of soccer, I feel like it's Ali Riley, who's a player for Angel City. There's a lot, but I can try to say one in each sport, but I just think my favorite are my teammates on the 7 team and now on the Bears team.
Favorite sport that isn't rugby?
I love basketball. I will say I used to play basketball. It's such a fun sport. I do really enjoy that sport.
Favorite music artist?
Right now, what have I been listening to? Stephen Day. I've listened to a lot of Stephen Day.
Go-to pump-up song?
I always say this, but I'll say it again. It's Shania Twain, Man I Feel Like a Woman. I danced to it on Dance with the Stars too. I love that one.
Love it too. And then one word to describe you.
Authentic, I guess. Just me being me.
Hey, listen. And speaking of, I want to say you are 5'10", I am 6'6". I love being tall, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And you spread the message of body positivity so beautifully, specifically when it comes to women who might not necessarily embrace their height or love it. What would you say?
Yeah. I think for me, it's like, in a weird way, you have to embrace it because it's not changing. Like, that's the height you're going to be with for the rest of your life. And you can wish it away, you can dream it away, but that's it. So can you now make that choice? Okay, this is the body I have. Like, for me, it was kind of like making that choice to love my shoulders and my big muscular frame. Like, this is it. This is the body I'm going to have the rest of my life. There's no changing it. It's like a mind game to learn to kind of accept it. And now what can I do with this height? How can I make this height so beautiful and imposing and confident with this height? How can it translate on the volleyball courts or just going on the walk in cheerleading? I just think there's so many ways that it can be used. So in a weird way, it's like a slap in the face. And it's like, this is it. That's what your height you're going to look like. All right, now to make a choice. Are you going to be sad about it, or are you like going to see how amazing and capable it can be?
Ooh, that's a word, and I'll take it. But thank you so much for joining us. I know that you have a very busy schedule, so thank you for taking the time out. Ilona Maher, everybody.
Thank you.
I loved it. Oh my gosh.
It was
I
so
have to
good. And
say, I have to say one thing. It was like you could just tell how excited you were to talk to her and the stuff that you were complimenting her on and having the like you really felt the things that you were saying. You know, sometimes you can see people interviewing people and you give a compliment because that's kind of what you do in an interview. It's a good way to like break down your subject, but you genuinely meant like all of the things. Not to say that you don't mean it when you speak to other people, but I could really feel like the energy of the words that you were sharing to her, and I could really feel just the gratitude and the appreciativeness in her responses. I really believe that she takes her platform so seriously. And that iced coffee thing, I felt attacked, low key, but it's okay.
oh, me as well.
Yes,
I have one next to me right now, Ashley. Right now.
she said that to me, and I said, "Ouch, that stung." Okay, because me and a bunch of my girlfriends are guilty, so I get my protein later in the day. Don't judge me. But I love her. I thought that was an amazing, amazing conversation. I really felt like I walked away getting to know her better and more than I feel like I do because of the way that we've spoken about her, you know, the amount of times we've spoken about her and also what she shared on social media. But this really just kind of peeled back some of her layers. I really enjoyed it.
Well, first of all, thank you. I enjoyed it as well. It was one of those moments for me where I was interviewing her, but at the same time being like, this is literally what I put on my vision board when I thought about what I was going to
Yeah.
do in this role or even achieving, talking to women in sports, having a podcast about women in sports, all of the things, right? I was like, this is somebody who I genuinely really appreciate. And I appreciate what she's done for all of us and for women in sports in general, and just
Mhm.
for sports in general, right?
Mhm.
And I was just sitting there thinking, I literally, this is what I wanted to do, and I'm doing it. So not only interviewing somebody who's truly amazing, but also just being able to bring her influence to a greater audience for
Mhm.
them to hear and see and appreciate everything that she does.
Mhm.
But just that being on this platform, just it was like a full circle moment for me in that
Yeah.
respect. So,
And I think that people, and we'll wrap up in just 1 second, but I just feel like people, I sometimes, and I say people, I mean men, don't realize
okay.
what having different types of women in a public facing role, whatever that role may be. Obviously, we talk about sports on this show, but in entertainment, in front offices, in even politics. You just think of a role that, you do a lot of networking, or it's a lot of front facing things in terms of interviews or other publicity events and things like that. I don't think that men really can grasp what it means to see different types of women in those positions. And I think having her skyrocket in the way that she did, granted, there are probably a million, not a million, but there's probably several, prominent rugby players. And there's probably rugby players that are better and more accomplished in their sport than she is, and maybe more accomplished in the Olympics or something, some sporting events similar to that in some way, shape, or form that we're unaware of because of, the powers of social media and how she utilized it. But I don't think that people, because so many people were so focus on attacking what she looked like, that I don't think that men realize what she looks like does for women who look like her or don't look like her. And there are so many types of women, and there's so many types of body types, and there's so many types of looks, and there are women who are slim, there are women who are curvy, there are women who are somewhere in the middle, there are women who are muscular. And seeing a woman in a certain position succeed and look a certain way makes you feel like you're not alone. It makes you feel like there's nothing wrong with how you look. It makes you feel like there's nothing unattractive about how you look. And I just think it's so important for this platform and platforms like it to continue elevating so many different types of women. because there are a lot of women who don't have a voice. And interviewing, just having women on our platform who do have a voice and can speak to women who see themselves in that person in some way, shape, or form is just so important. And guys, stop bullying people's bodies. It's whack. It's 2025. Like, let's grow up. Just saying.
Yeah. Let's grow up in every way. It's like the most cowardly thing you can do, especially when you're doing it behind a keyboard. Let's be clear. Or a phone. Listen, any way that you do it is cowardly.
Mic drop. Pew, 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 pew. Listen, on that note, okay, Alicia with the banger. If you want to rewatch this episode or you want to share it with somebody that you know or several people that you know, make sure you are tapped in to our YouTube channel, follow, subscribe, turn those notifications all the way up, because otherwise you'll miss amazing gem of interviews like this. Also, make sure you're tapped into all of our social media channels, because that is where we post clips, quote cards, fun social media games, and everything in between that you may miss in the world of social media. Alicia, I saw, was doing a really cool game with Jenny Dell. Like, you're in the box and you have to march in place. I'm excited to see, you know, how that turned out. I actually really want to do that. I think I'd be really good at that. But that's a different conversation for a different day. If you are someone who likes to listen to your podcast, maybe you want to relive this interview while you're driving to work, give yourself some inspiration, or maybe driving to the gym, or just wanted to remind yourself to eat your protein and night of iced coffee, you're going to scan the QR code at the end of the show, and that will pop us up wherever you listen to your pods. And we're on Apple, we're on Spotify. From myself, from Alicia, eat your protein, skip the iced coffee, get your water, close your Apple rings, and just take care of yourselves physically, mentally, spiritually, all that good stuff. Take care of yourselves.
Take care of yourselves and watch us on Friday on CBS Sports Network for a live show that we're going to have where you talk about everything in women's sports. It's at 2 p.m. Eastern, so make sure that you're tapped in. We're going to be live on CBS Sports Network on Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern. So tap in.
Bye, guys.
Period.
This is a piece and a 2.